the Al-Quds brigades, has stated that the body was recovered during searches in areas controlled by the Israeli army in central Gaza. Sources now say that the remains belong to one of the final 3 hostages still held within the Gaza Strip. Now, at the start of the US brokered ceasefire on the 10th of October, there were about 20 living hostages and 28 bodies of deceased captives that were held. Since then, Hamas has released all living hostages and have returned 25 bodies, while Israel released nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and returned hundreds of bodies in line with the agreement. In other news, residents in Gaza City's Shujaiya neighborhood woke to find large yellow concrete blocks placed outside their homes, marking what appears to be the withdrawal line of Israeli troops. Ibrahim Farat, one of the residents, has stated that the block outside his house had been moved from its previous location near a local pharmacy, less than a kilometer away. Several neighbors now reported similar blocks appearing overnight, which they believe were placed by Israeli forces. Now, the purpose of the barriers and these blocks has not been confirmed. Let's listen into what some of the residents had to say.
اتفاجئنا الليلة الساعة 2:30 إنه الحجر الأصفر حسب مزاج الضابط تبعه ما له علاقة باتفاقية ترامب ولا له علاقة بكل المعاهدات. نقل الحجر الأصفر من آخر شارع الغزالي جابه هان. طب هو كان غاد يعني في اتفاقية جديدة.
كان معاهم ريبوتات وكانت الدبابة هان وكان معاهم winch وحطوا الحجر الأصفر هذا المكعب اللي تو صورته أنت. وهي زي ما أنت شايف قاعدين بنلملم في عزالنا عشان نطلع. طب إحنا وين نروح؟ لمين نشكي؟ لمين نحكي؟
الليلة تفاجأنا لما سمعنا صوت الدبابات وبحطوا المكعب الأصفر، والصبح لما طلعت أنا وجوزي تفاجأنا كثير. يعني هذا خطر علينا كثير.
هي البلطان المكعب الأصفر بقى لصيدلية الأقصى وقاعدين وهذا وبقى بعيد عنا بالأول، وبقى إطلاق النار يجي على دارنا، إطلاق متفجر بقى بعيد تقريبا كيلو عن دارنا. والجرافة خبطت الطغرة هذا ورجعت الطغرة هذا كمان الكباش والباقي يقدموا هيجي أثر جنازير الدبابات لما بدوا يقدموا ها.
With us on the broadcast is Mr. Sasha Machta, political commentator, joining us from Jerusalem. Thank you so much for taking our time speaking to us on NewsX World. Up until now, it's all conjectures because it's not really been confirmed what is the purpose of these blocks, why have they been placed, how have they been placed as well. It's all speculation on the ground. How do you read into what is taking place?
So this is not just a new phenomenon as of yesterday. It's already been a few weeks ago that the IDF started placing yellow boxes around the border of the yellow line to clearly demarcate and to clearly have a visible marker of where the yellow line commences, where it begins. It is important that this yellow line and that this division in Gaza is clearly seen right now so that both the IDF soldiers know exactly where their limits are, and also Gazan civilians know as well, because crossing over to the yellow side could be dangerous because it's been assumed until now that an incursion is an attack on the soldiers. We've seen many Hamas terrorists that have continuously broken the ceasefire and crossed the line and tried to shoot IDF troops. So this is a clear marker of where this line begins, and hopefully there will be no confusion. No Gazan civilians will mistakenly cross and enter danger, and that those that do cross, Hamas terrorists, will be able to be clearly identified. So this is just one way of clearly showing where these limits are.
Indeed. And I wanted to digress a little bit over here. Of course, I was not able to address one of the crucial pieces of information that we've been tracking with you earlier, but I'd like to address it now. The stiff that is going on between Israel Katz and the chief of the IDF, Lieutenant General Air Zamir. How are you assessing what is taking place? Because the dispute is not behind closed doors, it's very public. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is now slated to hold meetings as well. It's become that serious. Some people are claiming that this feud risks politicizing the army and also risks harming the effectiveness of how the IDF operates at large.
Yeah, so clearly nothing, unfortunately, in Israel happens behind closed doors. All disputes and discussions and disagreements always, for some reason, need to be made public and politicized. Of course, the generals and those high up ranking commanders that were found responsible by Zamir and by the report that he ordered on October 7th on the probe, it is necessary that they will be removed from their positions as they have been. This was the largest failure in the history of the state of Israel, the largest military failure that cost the lives of so many and could have cost thousands of more lives. It took 5 to 6 hours for the IDF even to arrive and to neutralize the situation. So this was a massive failure, a catastrophe for the IDF. And what Zamir is doing right now is sort of cleaning the army from those officials that had brought this mentality of passivity and of believing that Hamas was deterred. They had totally misread the situation, and that had led to the loss of and the bloodshed of thousands of Israelis. So the problem is that between Zamir and Katz, there's a sort of game for who is taking the authority, for who has the authority, for who should be taking responsibility. It's also challenging for Israel Katz to continue with this, especially for Netanyahu to get more involved, because Zamir is such a popular figure in Israel after his handling of the Iran war and also the Gaza ceasefire. His popularity is off the charts, and it might not be a good move politically for Netanyahu to continue going in this direction and challenge Zamir. So the situation is messy, especially for someone looking from abroad. But we hope that at least the IDF soldiers, the generals and commanders responsible for the failure will meet justice.
All right, so with that.